Steelers fans, this season has been nothing short of fascinating, especially when it comes to the offensive line. We often talk about how an offensive line is only as strong as the sum of its parts. But the reality is that every single piece has to click perfectly for the unit to function at an elite level. Over the last few weeks, we've seen a significant transformation in this group. What was once a source of constant anxiety for the coaching staff has started to show signs of stability, and it's remarkable to watch how that change has impacted the team overall. There's a rhythm now, a sense of trust and cohesion that was previously missing, and it's evident every time the ball is snapped. The numbers tell one story, but the film reveals another. Pass blocking efficiency, pressures allowed, sacks surrendered. These statistics are all important, and for the Steelers this season, they have been surprisingly solid. Over the full campaign, the offensive line gave up one sack roughly every 6 passing plays, which on paper is impressive. Yet, what the stats don't fully capture is the subtle artistry happening on the field. The way linemen adjust to stunts, slide in unison, and create pockets for the quarterback. There's a level of instinct and anticipation here that cannot be measured numerically, but it has been just as critical to the team's success as the raw numbers themselves. One of the most interesting aspects has been seeing how individual performances have influenced the collective. While analytic sites might rank certain players as the weak link based purely on quantitative grades, the reality in the locker room is often very different. Dylan Cook, for instance, has been described by his teammates as the glue of this offensive line. His presence has allowed others to focus solely on their assignments, reducing chaos and creating an environment where the sum of the parts becomes greater than the individual components. It's moments like these, the quiet leadership, the consistency that doesn't always show up on highlight reels, that can define a season. The Steelers linemen have expressed relief at having someone like Cook anchoring the unit, and that trust translates directly into better execution on the field. Beyond individual contributions, the offensive line has started to showcase moments of sheer dominance that are impossible to ignore. Watching Mason McCormick or Troy Fauanu physically move defenders multiple yards downfield in the open field is not just impressive, it's a statement. These plays highlight the difference between simply doing one's job and truly impacting the game at a higher level. Whether it's opening lanes for running backs or protecting the quarterback in critical situations, the chemistry among these 5 players has begun to elevate the entire offense. You start to notice it in how the quarterback moves in the pocket, how running backs hit gaps with confidence, and how the overall tempo of the offense improves. In addition to the unit's collective improvement, individual growth has been a key storyline. Isaac Smalu has continued to develop into a reliable presence on the line, while Zach Frazier has demonstrated flashes of dominance that remind everyone why he was such a highly regarded prospect. Fauanu, still early in his career, has shown an uncanny ability to execute complicated blocks at crucial moments, proving that preparation and awareness are just as valuable as raw strength. These players are learning to anticipate one another, communicate on the fly, and adjust in real time, a skill set that separates good lines from great ones. The lessons they are absorbing now will carry weight far beyond a single season, building a foundation that could sustain this team for years. The dynamic of trust extends beyond the offensive line as well. When the rest of the team sees a line performing with this level of cohesion, it allows skilled players to play with confidence. Quarterbacks can step into throws without hesitation, running backs can hit gaps aggressively, and receivers can adjust routes knowing the pocket will hold. That ripple effect is why offensive line performance cannot be overstated. It's the invisible engine powering every successful play, and when it hums as it has lately for the Steelers, the results speak for themselves. The early uncertainty and adjustments that required extra blockers and unconventional personnel decisions now seem like a distant memory as the line finds its stride. Another aspect that stands out is the leadership emerging within this group. While statistics provide one lens, player observations tell the story of mentorship, guidance, and mutual accountability. Veterans are taking younger players under their wings, teaching the nuances of positioning, leverage, and timing. This mentorship not only improves individual performances, but also solidifies the unit as a whole. Watching how these linemen communicate pre-snap, identify defensive alignments, and execute complex blocking schemes reflects countless hours of practice and film study. The effort to internalize the game at such a granular level pays off on every snap, and it's the difference between a competent line and an elite one capable of carrying an entire offense. Even in the face of adversity, the resilience of the offensive line has been a defining characteristic. Injuries, unexpected matchups, and in-game adjustments have tested this group repeatedly. Yet, time and again, they have adapted. Whether it's providing extra protection against a dominant pass rusher or executing a perfect combination block to spring a running back for a big gain, the unit's ability to rise to the occasion has been impressive. That adaptability is a hallmark of a championship-caliber team. Fans can now watch with confidence that this line can withstand challenges and maintain performance under pressure, something that seemed elusive just a few months ago. The Steelers' offensive line story this season also illustrates a broader principle in football. Success is rarely the result of individual brilliance alone. It's about cohesion, preparation, and execution as a collective. When all five linemen operate in sync, the quarterback's options open up, the running game flourishes, and the offense becomes dynamic. Conversely, when even one link falters, the whole system suffers. Observing how these players have come together, learning each other's tendencies, and building a shared understanding of the game's flow provides a clear example of why teamwork at this level is indispensable. The lessons extend far beyond a single game or a single season. They define a culture. As the season progresses, the offensive line continues to be a focal point, both for fans and for opponents. Teams analyze tendencies, identify matchups, and attempt to exploit perceived weaknesses. Yet, the Steelers' line has demonstrated an ability to adjust and respond effectively. Each player's growth, combined with the unit's collective experience, creates a constantly evolving challenge for opposing defenses. The adaptability on display not only secures immediate victories, but also establishes a long-term framework for sustained success. Fans can watch plays unfold with an understanding that every snap reflects countless hours of preparation, collaboration, and individual effort harmonized into one cohesive performance. Turning our attention to the defensive side of the ball, there's no question that the Steelers have had a season full of adjustments, surprises, and standout individual performances. One player who has consistently drawn attention is Nick Herbig. Despite limited snaps in key games, his impact has been undeniable. Even when not on the field for every sequence, the moments in which he has contributed demonstrate a rare combination of instinct, athleticism, and football IQ. Herbig is the type of player who may not rack up traditional statistics every down, but when he does make a play, it shifts momentum and changes the trajectory of a drive. Watching him dissect offensive schemes, time his rushes, and make critical tackles has been a reminder of how valuable situational football knowledge can be. What makes Herbig's performances even more impressive is the context in which they occur. Often, he's asked to step in against the league's elite running backs or offensive lines, sometimes in high-pressure moments where the season hangs in the balance. Against some of the league's most physically dominant players, he has shown both courage and precision. For instance, when tasked with containing a back who had previously dominated the line of scrimmage, Herbig's quickness, leverage, and anticipation allowed him to disrupt plays that seemed destined for success. Those brief appearances, executed flawlessly, highlight not just his skill, but his readiness to seize opportunities, no matter how limited the time on the field might be. The defense as a whole has benefited from this type of disciplined, opportunistic play. The Steelers have always relied on a strong front, but this season, coordination between linebackers and linemen has become even more crucial. Every defensive player has to read and react with split-second timing, understanding not only the offensive tendencies, but also what their teammates will do in each scenario. This level of cohesion has led to impactful moments, such as key pressures on quarterbacks, timely sacks, and perfectly timed run stops. The synergy between players allows them to cover for one another, compensate for mismatches, and create opportunities that would be impossible through individual effort alone. Special mention must also go to how the coaching staff has managed rotations and assignments. Defensive coordinator Terrell Austin and head coach Mike Tomlin have been deliberate in deploying players in roles where their strengths are maximized. This is particularly evident in games where the Steelers have faced powerhouse running backs or offenses that rely on complex route combinations. Players like Malik Harrison have received the lion's share of snaps in these scenarios, but that does not diminish the contributions of others who are rotated strategically to exploit certain matchups. This level of planning ensures that when the pressure intensifies, the Steelers have multiple capable options ready to respond. Even more fascinating is how players have embraced roles that may not always appear glamorous, but are essential to team success. Herbig, for example, might only see a fraction of the total defensive snaps in some games, yet his efficiency when he is on the field is extraordinary. In a game where he played just 13 defensive snaps, he managed to generate a sack and 3 pressures on the quarterback. One of those pressures nearly resulted in a second sack, and it was clear that his timing and execution could have changed the outcome of critical moments. This type of contribution, where minimal opportunity yields maximum impact, demonstrates the value of preparation, focus, and mental sharpness. It's the hallmark of a player who understands that influence on the game is not always measured in minutes, but in effectiveness. The defensive line and linebacking core have also shown remarkable discipline in containing explosive plays. Against teams with dynamic running backs, the Steelers have been methodical, maintaining gap integrity and forcing offenses into less favorable options. This attention to detail is reinforced by constant communication on the field, ensuring that assignments are executed properly. Every missed assignment or lapse can lead to a big play, and this team has demonstrated a consistent ability to minimize those opportunities. What stands out is not just the individual athleticism, but the collective intelligence and accountability displayed on every snap. When the defense functions as a unit, it elevates the performance of each individual player while simultaneously frustrating opposing offenses. Turnover creation has also been a highlight. When defenders execute disciplined techniques, force quarterbacks to hold the ball longer, or penetrate the offensive line effectively, the opportunities for interceptions, forced fumbles, and tipped passes increase dramatically. Players such as T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward continue to provide the kind of edge pressure and interior disruption that allows linebackers and defensive backs to capitalize. These high-impact plays are often the difference between close victories and losses, particularly against elite competition. The Steelers' ability to combine strategic preparation with opportunistic execution has been critical in sustaining their competitiveness throughout the season. Beyond raw performance, leadership and culture on the defensive side cannot be overstated. Veterans set the tone not only through their play, but through mentorship and example. Young players observe, absorb, and internalize the habits of the experienced core, which accelerates development and builds a foundation for long-term success. Players like Herbig, though young, exemplify humility and focus, emphasizing team achievements over personal accolades. It's a culture that values preparation, resilience, and accountability, and it's evident in how the unit executes under pressure. Watching a group of athletes operate with such collective discipline provides insight into why the Steelers remain competitive in an era where high-octane offenses dominate the league. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The silence coming out of Pittsburgh has grown louder, and around the league, it is being interpreted as something more than routine off-season quiet. Whispers are beginning to circulate that T.J. Watt's future with the Steelers may be drifting toward an unexpected exit. No statements, no firm denials, no public reassurances, just a vacuum where certainty used to live. In NFL circles, that kind of emptiness often invites imagination. And right now, the imagination points toward a possible separation between one of the franchise's defining defenders and the team that made him a star. Those close to the situation describe a complex picture. Contract dynamics, long-term vision, and the inevitable recalibration of a roster all appear to be part of the background noise. What has long been the emotional and tactical centerpiece of the defense? A player whose presence reshapes game plans before the opening kickoff. Yet the league is unforgiving, and even cornerstone players can find themselves caught between loyalty and leverage. The lack of public clarity has only intensified the belief that conversations are happening quietly, away from microphones and press conferences. Executives from rival teams are said to be monitoring the situation carefully, aware that opportunities of this magnitude rarely surface without warning. The idea of what in a different uniform feels almost surreal. But history offers plenty of reminders that even the most iconic partnerships can end abruptly. For Pittsburgh, the stakes are enormous. Moving on would signal a philosophical shift, while holding on could require concessions that shape the franchise for years. Until something concrete emerges, the story remains one of shadows and speculation. The Steelers are known for discretion, and what is known for professionalism, making the current stillness even more intriguing. Whether this is simply a pause before reaffirmation or the calm before dramatic change, the silence itself has become the headline. In Pittsburgh, the absence of words is fueling one of the most compelling rumors the league has seen in years. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.